everyone. Welcome to the January meeting of the Symmes Township Trustees. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please bow your heads. God, please make our Symmes Township bicentennial a wonderful year, not by shielding us from sorrow and pain, but by strengthening us to bear it if it comes, not by making our path easy, but by making us sturdy enough to tread any path, not by taking hardship from us, but by taking all cowardice and fear from our hearts as we meet hardships, not by granting us unbroken sunshine, but by keeping our face bright even in the darkness, not by making our lives always pleasant, but by showing us where you need us most, and by making us zealous to be there and to help. God, please continue to bless and watch over our residents, businesses, administrative and public works staff, the Loveland Symmes Fire Department, and the Hamilton County Sheriff. Amen. Amen. Roll call, please.
Mr. Beck?
Here.
Mr. Bryant? Here. Miss Lees?
Here.
Next on the agenda, oath of office. Phil Beck, Township Trustee. Oh, that's me. The attorney representing, providing the oath is none other than Suzanne Helton Beck, my wife.
Oh,
If you wouldn't mind coming up, please.
Oh, congratulations, that's so fun.
You're going to have your daughter come up too?
Yeah, Sarah, you can come up as well. This is our youngest daughter, Sarah Beck.
Neat.
She's a captive audience home for the holidays.
Yes, you're fine.
Okay.
I can get out.
And repeat after me. I, Philip J. Beck, do solemnly swear and affirm
I, Philip J. Beck, do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I shall faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
of Township Trustee
of Township Trustee
for the term for which I have been elected.
for the term for which I have been elected.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You guys want to get in with them? So you get,
Well, no, will he let us?
That's
I'll
okay.
sign that and give that to your moderator. That's okay.
We're good.
You sure? Okay.
We're good.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Phil, how many terms have this been?
This is number 5.
Well, congratulations,
Yes,
number 5.
around number 20 at the end of this term. That's a good round number.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is.
You've done a great
Yes.
job for the township. We're
Well, thank
lucky
you.
to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So next, we move into election of officers, president of the board and vice president of the board. Do I have a nomination, for president?
I nominate Jody Lees, President.
I second that nomination. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bryant? Aye. Miss Lees?
Aye. I was going to abstain.
Mr.
but
Beck?
Might as well
Aye.
for myself.
Should we go ahead and, well, why don't
I
we
do.
nominate vice president
Yep.
next? Okay. Do we have a nomination for vice president? I will nominate Ken Bryant for vice president.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? Okay, that's a good sign. Roll call, please.
Miss Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant? Abstain.
Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and do our rotation. Actually, you get to stick with it.
I know.
That was good planning.
Well, you guys had mercy on me for a whole year there. I just got used to not moving.
There we go.
That's nice. Well, first of all, I want to welcome everybody, and I would like to say happy bicentennial year. This is going to be a great year for Symmes Township because we have a lot of fun things planned because it is our bicentennial. So that being said, I move approval of the agenda.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of minutes, regular meeting December 5th, 2023, special meeting minutes December 28th, 2023.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of fiscal officer's report.
We want me to give up first, right?
Yes. But I,
Okay, I'll second that, and here's the discussion.
thank
We'll
you,
hear
now
the
discussion.
report. Well, that's it.
Thank you.
Our checking account balance stands at $7,230,631.84. The HRA checkbook account is at $5,724.51. Our Fifth Third investment account balance through December stands at $8,150,946.42. Revenue to date, $11,298,374.50. Revenue budgeted, $11,951,159.86. Appropriations for 2023 totaled $16,101,617.29. Expenditures to date, $11,276,715.30. Payments that were made in December total $726,397.82. Some of our major fund balances are general fund, $2,890,523.73. Our park levy is at $270,774.21. The Rossi Park levy, $299,520.47. Police levy, $909,867.40. The fire levy, $744,524.41. Road levy, $192,840.65. Safety services levy, $4,495,419.91. ARP fund, $523,950.86. Tax increment financing fund, $2,705,618.77. Total of all our funds equals $15,143,070.05.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
New business, I move to approve Steve Snyder to the Board of Zoning Appeals as an alternate for the term of 1/1/2024 to 12/31/2028.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. Okay, we get to a fun part. Oath of offices, Jeff Reitman, Zoning Commission, Cynthia Bucco, Board of Zoning Commission, Steve Snyder, Board of Zoning Appeals. Kim, we'll swear you in.
That's interesting. Your choice.
Your choice.
Your choice.
Well,
Yeah, they're different boards.
yeah.
Different boards.
Let's do one at a time. You just sit here.
Your moment on this side.
All right, well, I happen to have a vest in my hand. So, all right, you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeffrey Reichman. I, Jeffrey Reichman. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. And the Constitution of the State of Ohio. And the Constitution of the State of Ohio. And that I will faithfully discharge. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of a member of the Zoning Commission. the duties of a member of the zoning commission of Symmes Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, of Symmes Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, to which I have been appointed. To which I have been appointed. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Can I get a picture of you and Jeff?
Oh,
Yes.
Here we go.
Should we get,
Do you a nice backdrop.
keep saying we should photobomb.
All right, thanks.
We give you the back.
Thank you for stepping up and,
No getting out of it.
that's right.
Thank you.
Cynthia. Good to
You're
see
back again.
Back.
She just loves it here.
I, Cynthia Bucco,
I, Cynthia Luco,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals
the duties of a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals
of Symmes Township, Hamilton County, Ohio,
of Symmes Township, Hamilton County, Ohio,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
Thank you. You do such a great job. We love having you.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Stephen Snyder,
I, Stephen Snyder,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals. The duties of a member
the duties of the member
of
as
the
a member of the
Board of Zoning Appeals of Symmes Township, Hamilton County, Ohio,
of Symmes Township, Hamilton County, Ohio,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
Congratulations.
Thank you
very
very
much.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy it.
Spell it on here, just so you
Yes.
That's fine. Thank you.
know. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you're all welcome to stay, but don't feel like you have to. You are welcome to leave at any time. And our meetings are so exciting. Okay, there's no presentations, no public hearings. I move approval of disbursements voucher 700 to 710 totaling $34,156.67.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Reports, Law Director.
Thank you. I was going to say no report, but I suspect that there might be a question. So, with respect to the Camp Dennison property, just today, we got notice that we've been waiting for, that the no longer in existence pencil, I'm sorry.
Hit your microphone.
I'll give you a quick report on the Camp Dennison property acquisition. We found out today that the Pennsylvania company that no longer exists, which we knew, they have finally gotten back the rejected certified mail that we had to send it certified mail, had to wait for it to come back undeliverable, which today we got notice of that. That now will allow us to ask the court to serve it by publication, so it'll have to be put in a newspaper for a certain amount of time, and then that will satisfy the final service issue that we have, and then we'll be able to progress with the case.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. And that's all I have. I can answer any other questions you might have.
Any questions? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Good news. Thank you.
Police?
I don't have anything tonight, unless you guys have any questions.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Fire?
I don't have anything else other than the parking fire lane issue. I don't know when you want to talk about that, but we're here to address that as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Director of Public Works, I don't think he's with us. Any other committees? No? Other? Okay, so here we are at hearing from residents. So I know there's a couple people here regarding the parking issue, and so I invite you to come up now, and I think we'll move that up so you don't have to stay for the whole thing. So anyone who wants to come up and let us know what their thoughts are, please come on up.
Thank you for allowing us to talk. My name's Mark Belsick. I've been a resident of Elmfield Drive for 17 years. I gathered some information on parking, and I'd like to bring that up and give you a copy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I did want to make clear, I'm only talking about the parking on Elmfield. I'm not addressing the other street at all. So, you know, despite the administration's claims of a thorough review and the letter they sent to the residents, I found a lot of discrepancies, you know, with their recommendation. The public records sent to me by the administrator, it didn't include any results of any fire department study of the parking issue. There's nothing. Also, the administrator's letter said it was difficult for the buses to travel the street, yet one of the emails from the school superintendent said they have no issues reported with parking from the bus drivers. The letter also states there's substantial parking on the street, although my review of Elmfield Drive is going to show that's really not the case. And they also state that it's difficult to plow the street. I've watched them plow the street for 17 years, and they just go down in 2 quick passes, and they're on their way. They're not hesitating or getting stuck or anything. You'll see on my attached, I went ahead and took pictures from the end of my driveway from December 17th to the 23rd with the timestamp. It's in Appendix A. I didn't want to only use my pictures of the parking, so I used Google Street View, which was from 2019. And then there were Hamilton County GIS pictures from 2015, 19, 20, 22, and 23. If you take all those pictures and count the cars, it averages to 2.2 cars per day. And Elmfield Drive is 1,000 feet long. I don't know how you can say that's a substantial amount of cars.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So were you out there?
I was there a couple times. Deputy Chief Glavery with our Community Risk Bureau was there more often than not.
And that was when people were getting on the school bus and getting off the school bus, or different random
It was
times?
random. Most of the study was conducted on Meadowville. The concern with Elmfield is the trustees do decide to do a fire lane on Meadowville. It's going to push those folks over on Elmfield, without a doubt. That's past history when you do a fire lane. People are just going to find another place to park, and that would be a perfect place to park for a lot of those folks. So we would recommend that that would be included to eliminate us going back to another parking lane resolution for that street.
Like I said, there's no written documentation of their study. They just sounds like they just went out on a day or two. I mean, I think parking restrictions are for a long time. You don't take them away. You need a thorough study. You can't just go out a day or two.
So,
I tried to show through the years, you know, what's going on, including currently. But I still have more to say. But,
okay, go ahead.
so my daughter works irregular hours, and she currently parks directly in front of my house for safety at night. You know, with restricted parking, she'll no longer be able to park in front of my house. And it sounds like there's going to be even less parking, you know, if other people are taking up the spots on our street. And then if you even have less street parking, she may be parking down the block and walking home in the middle of the night. I mean, how would you like your daughter to do that? I also have family members who have handicap parking, and when we have gatherings, we'd like them to park close to the house. Again, it's going to be unsafe for them. This parking restriction will make Elmfield Drive less safe for the residents and my guests every day of the year. You know, Elmfield Drive is approximately 26 feet wide. Many Symmes Township streets are 26 feet or narrower, and they have few parked cars, just like we do, with no parking restrictions. The proposed restriction is unwarranted as compared to other township streets. I urge you to reject Elmfield Drive parking restriction proposal. It's not based on facts. It's not based on bus driver complaints. We average 2.2 cars per day, which is low. There's no equity with parking restrictions on other township streets. And the proposal compromises the residents' safety every day of the year. Thank you for your consideration. Do you have any more questions?
I have some questions for the fire department. So, is this the only time is when the buses are going down? Is that people are complaining about the congestion?
It was a combination of all the above. We had some homeowners obviously initiated a complaint early in October. We spent approximately 3 weeks between myself, Mr. Pittman, the on-duty supervisor, which is the battalion, made multiple trips up and down the street. We have pictures, and I'm sure you've seen them. Now, there were times where there was cars parked on both sides of the street, which made it very, very narrow. That road is 24 foot wide. Your average car truck's about 7'10". You put one on both sides, do the math, leaves about 8 feet of travel in the middle of the road. So with that being said, our medic units are right at 8 feet wide. Our ladder truck from mirror to mirror is 10'2". School buses are roughly approximately the same size. You throw some landscape trailers in there, a lot of folks get their lawns manicured during the summer hours. It gets pretty congested in there. There's also in the cul-de-sac on Meadow Knoll, there's a real estate agent. Her husband told me from time to time she does park her U-Haul there because she stages furniture for some of her clients. That adds to it as well. So our recommendation, after it was 3 weeks, we had vehicles on that road observing, and you can see from some of the pictures, that we recommend a fire lane be posted on both of those streets, only on the fire hydrant side. Again, that's a recommendation.
And is it from a certain time to a certain time, or is it 24/7? I'm just.
Yeah.
It's 24/7. Okay.
Mark, is that the side of your house? Is
Yeah,
the fire-
that's-
That would be that side?
Fire.
So there's going to be a fire lane on one side, and then you can park on the other side?
Correct. Correct. And there are townships, I think Miami Township, Anderson, it's not uncommon that they have resolutions, there's no parking throughout the township on the fire hydrant side.
I think we have other streets
Oh, we have some.
in the township that are
They're simple.
restricted.
We visit fire lane complaints 2 or 3 times a year, if you will.
Could we put
Are
hours?
you calling it a fire lane?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
On a fire hydrant side.
I know we did that on Vicksburg and some others, right?
So, like someone at night. Are you here on this subject?
I am.
Okay, why don't you come up and talk?
I rather not stand at the podium, so I don't have to, but I.
We need the microphone to be able to pick you
Yeah.
up.
You have to.
I don't really want to be televised and all this other nonsense. My name is Adrienne Winfield. I live on Meadow Knoll. So I'm at 10186 Meadow Knoll, which is at the entrance to a private drive. I have my own issues with the private drive, but that's not why we're here. I agree that there are times where when both cars, or when both sides of the parking, when people are parked on both sides of the street, it is very congested, in particular at the curve. But I have lived there for 20 years. I've seen school buses. I've had fire trucks at my house personally, and they have made it down my street. I've seen ambulances come down our street perfectly fine. If the garbage trucks and snowplows can come down Meadow Knoll. I'm more concerned about all the cars and where they're going to park. In particular, I'm on the non-hydrant side. We do have 3 cars right now as a family with the 3-car garage, but sometimes we do park out in front of our house. And again, like Mark said, with all the other cars that people own, and I think an assessment needs to be done of how many vehicles maybe each of those houses owns, because that will, help decide whether that's feasible or not, because people do park on both sides. Not only during parties, but like even today, I left, there's people parked on both sides. So there's excess cars that can't fit in people's yards because they have, or driveways, because they have children who drive themselves to school and additional people who park. So I'm not necessarily opposed, I'm just asking that more research be done with the number of vehicles, because I'm more concerned that I'm gonna have 6 cars parked in front of my house. It's going to tear up the street in front of me, which I am responsible for, along with trash and other things, because people do not clean up after themselves, as well as, parking. It's not a curb, it's a slanted curb, so oftentimes they park up on that and have come up on my grass, which I have to maintain. So again, with Mark, he's on Elmfield, I am on Meadow Knoll, it does affect my street. But I'm kind of torn, because I agree, there are times, but I go to work every morning at 8:15, I see the school bus. No, you can't get 2 cars down the street at the same time to pass each other, somebody has to pull over, but I've seen the school bus come down perfectly fine, as well as garbage trucks, safety vehicles at all times of the day. So I would like to understand a little bit more about how many cars it's going to impact, because to Mark's point, people are gonna have to park much further from their homes. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this was started by an email from a couple of the other residents.
We investigated it.
Yeah.
Come on.
My name's Kerry Kane. I live at 10120 Meadow Knoll on the portion that goes east-west. I've only been there 4 years, but I've never noticed a problem with garbage trucks or anyone trying to make it down the street. Your comment about cars being pushed onto side streets, all the cars from Meadow Knoll are going to be pushed now onto Bent Creek, so you may as well need to consider putting a fire parking thing there if you make Meadow Knoll no parking. I'm also opposed to the creation of a no parking zone. I'm on the side of the street that will be absorbing all the parked cars. There's a house across the street from me to the left, at 10135 Meadow Knoll, and that's the one that has the U-Haul truck sometimes in a cul-de-sac. But the cul-de-sac is so recessed, that's totally out of the traffic zone. Anyone who's driving in that part of the cul-de-sac is out of control anyway, because they're 20 feet away from where they need to be. But that family has, besides that car, they have adult or older children, and there's usually at least 2 cars parked in a cul-de-sac, which will now have to park on the shorter side of the street on Meadow Knoll in front of my house or my neighbor's house. And the house across the street from me has an adult child who parks in front of their house, will no longer be able to park in front of their house, so I'll have to park in front of my house.
And I have Airbnb next to me that has cars parking on the street, and they'll be parking in front of my house as well as into their house. So I don't see where adding a fire lane is going to make it any less congested. It's going to make it harder for the mailman to get to the mailbox, because people will be parking as tight as they can close to my driveway. I imagine Rumpke's going to have a hard time getting garbage cans with his arm on his truck when he has to sit in the middle of the street because he can't go close to the curb. The snow removal person in the past, I've only been here a couple of years, but one year when it was a heavy snow, you know, he always pushes the snow to the curbside. He came back the other side and pushed it back out to the center and then pushed it down to the cul-de-sac, so he didn't plow me in. He won't be able to do that anymore if there was 4 cars parked in front of my house. And I think the street is wide enough for actually 3 cars to pass. I mean, there's 2 cars parked on each side, you can easily get through the middle. And if you have a whole line of cars parked, most people aren't that confident of where the right-hand side of the car is. So instead of driving close to the parked cars so 2 cars can pass, they'll sit and wait for the oncoming traffic to go. So there's going to be, people will be sitting there waiting and for cars to pass 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parked cars in a row, because they're all going to be lined up on one side of the street. And also, I think it's going to become a potential safety hazard too, because of people coming on the Meadow Knoll goes south and then it makes that big turn and goes west. If cars are lined up on Meadow Knoll going south and then they have to go around the corner and there's parked cars all along one side and all along the other side, they have to swing really wide to get around that corner, and there'll be oncoming traffic, and who knows what's going to happen with that. It's going to be a lot tighter situation for cars turning the corner, I would think. I think that's all the main points there. I just think it's unnecessary. I mean, I've been able to navigate through the traffic in the last 4+ years I lived there, and it's never been an issue with me. And I've never noticed a school bus having to stop 3 houses down the street before they could proceed to the drop-off point to let kids off because of parked cars. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, but I do have a comment. I drive down Meadow Knoll almost every day because I head to Meade, and I live over by the high school. And I've never noticed a problem with parked cars weaving in and out. So I would like to maybe put this off, because I would like to look at this a little more. I mean, I never even thought twice about the parked cars. But then I see that my fire department's recommending something, so,
Safety trumps.
yeah,
Okay,
I
as far
get
as I'm
that.
concerned.
Yeah, we were just investigating a complaint that's brought to our office. Again, we spent almost 3 weeks going up and down the drive. The big concern is when we get parked cars on both sides of the street, they're restricted to 8, 9 foot of asphalt to bring fire trucks and life squads through. And again, we're just,
Yeah,
due
we
diligence to investigate
absolutely understand that.
complaint.
Yeah, we ask you to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're doing
You
your
give us our
job,
That's right.
recommendation.
for sure.
And I think it's important to understand that the parking problem is not the cars. It's the people that drive the cars. It's the human behavior that has caused the problem. So rather it's 10 of your residents who don't seem to be here tonight, but sent me dozens of emails about this. If they're complaining about it, it's a problem for them. So we have 4 or 5 residents here tonight that it isn't a problem for them. And it's always been, and in the 43 years that I've been here in the township,
Right.
I can tell you that we deal with this all over the township all the time. What happens is a family has teenagers that grow up and they get automobiles. They all get cars. And then they never want to park in the driveway because they don't want to get up 6 o'clock in the morning and shuffle cars around, so they want to park on the street. So they want to park on this side of the street, and everybody wants to park close to their house. but they also don't want anyone else parking in front of their house. So we have all of these things that are trying to manage the human condition that all pins in around the fire lane, all pins in around the parking. So are there times when it is congested? There certainly are. We've been there and we've seen them. Are there times when it isn't congested? Sure. I could get on Google Maps today and look, or Cages or any of them, and look throughout the township and find throughout the years, because that's 1 second picture in time. 1 second picture in time that there's nobody on the street. And I can find some where there's a dozen people on the street. But we have to look at it from a perspective of public safety. So if we have observed that there are times when it's congested, the only thing we can do is recommend to the trustees that they apply fire lanes to alleviate the congestion, because we're never going to be able to control the human behavior. No matter how much we try, that's never going to happen. So that's the fire department's perspective on it. If the trustees don't want to put a fire lane there, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's not like we went around the township and are just looking for places to put fire lanes, because it has never been this township's position to invoke parking restrictions unless it's absolutely necessary. And I will say that there are times when those restrictions have been taken away. I think the trustees have seen that. Those have been adjusted over the years. We've had some that were adjusted up here off of Montgomery Road just recently, where the residents said, hey, we love the fire lane, but there's not enough distance between that and the stop sign. Can we reduce it? And we've reduced it. We've had the sheriff look at those, sight distances and things of that nature. We've had areas in the township where a family was having bridge meetings or bridge card games where they had 25 or 30 people coming from outside the township to play cards at their house, blocked up all the street. We were able to alleviate that by talking to the residents, saying, your neighbors don't like this because it's blocking the street. What can we do about that? Fortunately, they were able to handle that way. So we asked the complainants on this, is there a homeowners association? That's the first thing I asked them, is there a homeowners association? Because I knew what was going to happen. It's just what happened tonight, because it happens every single time. So they should talk about it from their homeowners association first to determine whether or not the homeowners association supports that or not. So figure that out. So maybe, I know, there is not a homeowners association. So you're not talking to your neighbors. And so what's happening with that is everybody has their own opinion on how the subdivision and how the parking should be.
Well, I did talk to them, and they're concerned because their child can't play basketball in the cul-de-sac anymore because of the car park.
Can you speak up into it? We just need it for the camera.
I did talk to a neighbor, and their concern was that their child could not play basketball in the cul-de-sac because there's a car parked in the cul-de-sac. Which is why there was a complaint made.
But there are, and we could knock on every door, and every door would have a different way of how they feel that the parking should be. They either want, a lot of residents would say, if it's a problem, park in your driveway. Don't park on the street. So what I'm saying is we could get multiple different opinions if we knocked on every door of the street. We can only apply the code as based upon what we see. If we see a congested area at a particular point in time, and we've been there several times, and have seen a congested area, mostly around the curb on Meadow Knoll, we've seen that. It actually exists. And so our recommendation from that is that we alleviate that with a fire lane, whether it's the entire part of the street or just in the curb, that we alleviate that.
I have a question about the concern about the curve on Meadow Knoll. The curve on Meadow Knoll where cars are parked, I mean, the street goes like this, and the cul-de-sac goes like that around, and that parking area where those cars are parked is at least 8 feet away from where any traffic travels.
That's not the curve we're discussing,
That's not the curve he's talking about, it's the one up on me.
up by Elmwood.
Oh, by Elmwood, okay. If you're talking about the cul-de-sac curve, I
Yeah.
don't understand that being a congestion area, because that's 8 feet out of the traffic.
There's an elbow on that home.
Yeah.
There's a kink.
Yes,
So,
but not on Elmfield.
It is unclear to me as a resident of Meadow Knoll what the original concern was. I hear that you had some complaints. Can you further elaborate on what those specific complaints were? Was it from a bus driver, a safety vehicle driver, or or just a resident that said, hey, it's congested on the street? I can understand if the school bus driver said, I can't get down there. There are cars parked too much, or a safety vehicle, trash, pickup, etc. Because those are all services that we need, and I gratefully respect, the people who do come down, as well as snowplow, to come down the street and take care of those, as well as mail. But can you elaborate as to what the original complaint was?
Yes, it was residents complaining because the bus stopped there and their minor children getting on the bus. And they felt it was unsafe there for them. The bus driver did not file any complaint on it with the bus garage, because we had checked on that. However, they're the ones that are out there every morning with their children.
Which specific bus stop was it?
The LCC bus.
No, which bus stop? There are several places where the buses stop on Meadow Knoll.
Should have been the first one off the field field.
First,
By
that's
Elmwood.
Film Field, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, and there are no cars parked on the top part of Meadow Knoll on either side there. They're typically parked on the right-hand side going south or towards the back of the high school. There is no cars parked up there, and that's not generally where it's congested.
Yeah. I don't know which way the bus comes through there. So all I can tell you is what the resident complained.
I find it interesting that that's the bus stop that they complained about, because that is probably the widest and most open area on Meadow Knoll to begin with, where there's not as much car traffic, not car traffic, where there's not as many cars parked, because it's where Elmfield and Meadow Knoll meet. That's the one bus stop. The bus has picked up my children in the past. My kids are now in college, but they have picked up at the end of my private drive before. But again, that's the straight part, or that is a straight part of Meadow Knoll. It's not on the kink. And I don't believe that there is a pickup spot on that particular kink in Meadow Knoll. There might be, but my children are not of school age anymore. So I was just curious. Thank you for elaborating more. And I would, again, I know you had mentioned it, for the people who do complain, it would be nice if they were here to explain what their concerns were. So thank you.
Anyone else on that subject?
I wanted to say one more thing. The subdivision is about 25 years old, and there's no issues over the 25 years of any, we don't have records of anything as far as a bus problem, a fire department problem, a police, or garbage. And nothing, all these big vehicles are getting through. We've proven it's safe as it is. And like a lot of us said, if it's restricted to one side, we've got issues. Mailman's not going to deliver if you're within so many feet of that mailbox. People are waiting on prescriptions. I mean, we can go on and on. Like, my daughter won't be able to park close to our house, even though her car was vandalized right in front of our house. She's nervous about it. I had to put cameras up so I could watch as she parks in front of my house every night. I don't know where she's going to be parking. You're making the situation much worse by you're trying to fix a problem and making things worse. Thank you very much.
Anyone else on that subject? Okay, so we also have hearing from residents. So anybody else would like to come up and make a comment or have a question about anything else that's going on in the township? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, when I get to new business, I'll move that subject up, and we'll talk about this first, so you don't have to wait till we get to the subject, okay? So we're finished with hearing from residents. Correspondence, none. Events and meetings. Trustees special meeting Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the Administration Building. Martin Luther King holiday, building closed January 15th, 2024. Zoning Commission meeting Wednesday, January 17th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Administration Building. Board of Zoning Appeals meeting Monday, February 5th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Administration Building. Regular Township meeting February 6th, 2024, 7 p.m. at the Administration Building. We have no old business.
Actually, Madam President,
Yes.
was going to bring this up. I guess this would be the best time.
Okay.
Would it be possible to push the February meeting to the 13th instead of the 6th?
You'll be out of town,
Yes.
unavailable? Okay, I'm okay with that.
I know you only need 2, but, you know, if it works out for everyone's schedule,
How about
Go
you?
from the 6th to the 13th?
yes.
I'm
Is it okay with you, Kim?
I'm okay.
He probably won't be able,
I probably will not, but it depends on what that other,
because you have,
I have
Terrace
another,
Park, right?
yeah, I have another community council meeting that night. They have been moving theirs to 6 o'clock, and if they do that, it's likely that I can be here in time for the 7 o'clock meeting. If not, I won't be able to be here. I think you'll get along
We'll make it.
without me.
You're on call anyway.
Yeah.
Would that work okay with police and fire?
Fire, yeah.
Pushing it a week?
Okay.
Okay, I can make a motion right now.
Okay, you want to go ahead and make the motion?
Sure. I move that we reschedule the regular trustees meeting for the month of February from February 6th to February 13th, still at 7 PM, still at the administration building.
Second. Go ahead. Ken. Roll call, I'm sorry.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
A little rusty.
Thank you, board.
You're welcome. Old business, we have none. So now we're at new business. I move approval of Resolution G 2024-14, resolution establishing fire lanes on Meadow Knoll Drive and Elmfield Drive to the
Second.
top. Roll call?
Well, do you want to do discussion first?
Okay, do we need to move it to the top?
Oh.
We had a second for your move. Okay.
Did you want to discuss it more?
That was just a motion to
That was
move it
just
up.
to move
next
it
month.
up
Oh,
to
I'm
the
sorry.
top.
Move it up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I got that
Roll
right.
call.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye. Okay, now I move approval of Resolution G 2024-14, resolution establishing fire lanes on Meadow Knoll Drive and Elmfield Drive.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay.
I'm struggling.
I know, normally these,
I was gonna say that,
These
that's
are
where the
like-
problem is, right there. According to the emails, Meadow Knoll at the bend where it meets Elmfield. At least the emails that I went back and read just while they were talking.
Yes. And what was the complaint? The
They were-
complaint was people parking too close to the corner?
What I just said,
What?
it has to do with the school bus. So apparently there's a school bus stop somewhere in that vicinity, but that's where the emails are talking about.
Okay.
what I was
So-
about to say was these normally are very, almost, I hate to say it, kind of black and white.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the fire department
Can,
and the residents
Can you zoom
are
out
all in
just a
agreement
little more?
that there's an
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
Can you point out on that which side, because Mark, you said you're on the fire hydrant side. On Meadow Knoll, the other side is the fire hydrant side, I believe, it's not my side. So if you establish a fire lane, you would have a fire lane
Oh, okay, I know what this
going
is.
north to the blue square on the right-hand side, and then switch to the opposite side, going east on Elmfield.
Okay.
The fire lane wouldn't be on the same side around the corner. Is that how fire lanes traditionally are, that they can switch sides?
Would be on the side of the hydrant.
Yes.
So now you have, yeah,
Someone-
Fire.
So
Yeah.
the fire lane side is to the right or to the,
Should've
if
brought
I'm
my
looking at
pointer.
it, to the, is it lower or higher? Where's the
Do
fire
you
lane?
guys know where the fire lane is? I can pull up the aerial if you want me to.
But Elmfield is on the north side.
Okay.
I don't know, I believe it's on
Well,
the
I
east
think-
side.
East side.
Elmfield,
So on the non-blue side, Jody, is gonna be the north side, and then the east side's gonna be where the blue dot is. the blue.
So the guy that plays, that has the basketball, it won't be on that side? I know exactly what this is. What?
Oh, sorry.
That's a totally different
That's
part
a
of
totally different part.
And
No, but there's a guy, I see a kid playing basketball
Yeah,
over there.
that's not
That,
what he's talking about.
that's not what he's talking about, okay.
To the east.
Fields Earl runs this way.
Or Elmfield.
Which
Yeah.
way is the bus coming in?
So it's gonna be on this side.
Comes in from Fields Earl, down Meadow Knoll?
I would,
So
that's
the
what I've
north
heard
side,
most of the time.
Elmfield, and then the
Okay.
east side.
So it'll
And
be over here.
does it turn down to Elmfield at all?
Here.
I didn't see a bus turn up.
When they drop the kids
I don't think so.
then they come from Bent Creek and go the
Oh,
other direction.
okay.
Yeah.
Bent Creek. So why would the bus have trouble going that way?
Is that the elementary and the middle school and the high school?
Well, high school has no buses. It's elementary. and-
Elementary, it stops right in front of our house. I mean, I see it, I don't leave my house with a bus.
And it goes from
Okay,
Bent
and
Creek up
you
Bent
live
Knoll.
on the piece that comes from Bent Creek, right? The straight, little short, straight section?
Yeah.
Okay. So the bus comes down from Lebanon Road, let's say, Bent Creek to Meadow Knoll.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that bus doesn't make a turn onto Elmfield at all and goes straight to Fields Earl Road, I'm not sure I see the issue. It has to be coming the other way.
Yeah, I
We live there, we know.
Well, we don't live by.
We don't live by, oh,
Yeah,
no.
you live down here. Like, they live down here.
So we know the way the bus comes, the direction of the bus.
Okay.
I don't know if it goes out Elmfield or not.
All right.
Do you know there's a bus go down the street? Yeah.
Yeah, the bus does go down.
Yeah, it does go down.
Is the fire department taking a strong stand that this is necessary for public safety?
at the moment in time when we were there, on several different occasions, that area and the curb was congested. But again, that doesn't have anything really to do with the bus. We don't have anything to do with school transportation.
Okay,
You know, we have to do with the fact that can a fire apparatus pass safely
correct.
through that area
Okay.
with cars parked on both sides of the street in that curve. And when they're parked on both sides of the street there in that curved area, as you can see from, I don't know what the address is there. What is that, the fourth and fifth house down? Is that correct, Cheryl? Are we looking at that?
1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 houses down.
Yeah. It gets congested in that curve. That's what we have observed.
Can you restrict the fire lane to shorter distance rather than the whole street?
You can resist it or restrict it from sign to sign.
Okay,
So you can restrict it from the curb out to Fields Road Road or in any distance that you wish.
okay.
So this is the, I don't know if you can see, this is the curve you're talking about,
Correct.
not the tight curve or
Right.
that intersection.
Yeah, not the intersection. And that was the area, I believe, that you received the complaints, we've received the emails
Yes.
from. I think those residents live in that area there.
Yep. Near Elmfield. Yeah.
Mr. Deck, there's that first one that you're showing there, and then there's one a little bit further down,
Mhm.
which are,
Yeah,
so
the S
it's kind
curve,
of that S right there.
right.
Would it make sense for me to move that we table this resolution pending further investigation?
I think I kind of agree with you. I'd like to see if we can narrow the restrictions. I understand it's a safety issue, and when our fire department comes to us
Yes.
with safety issue, we have to take it seriously, and we want to do our due diligence. But I want to see if there's any way we can make it smaller. Is that possible? I mean, from your...
I think at this point, I'd like to understand it a little better.
Yeah.
Okay? Both positions. So I move that we table Resolution G 2024-14 pending further investigation.
Second?
I do have, technically, we'd be in discussion right now
Okay,
for
we're
this.
still...
So I'm just curious, if we're putting everything on the table, you know, does it make if there is a school bus issue, does it make sense to move the school bus stop? I'm just throwing it out there.
It's probably got, I'm guessing.
know if it's
I'm
gonna
guessing
do
there are
a
probably
school
2 or
bus.
3 stops along Meadow Mill.
I don't know. Anyways, just want to put that out there. Okay.
But that's
So
part
we
of.
got
part of-
motion and a second.
Roll call.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to try and do our due diligence to get this correct, okay?
Thank you.
All right. We'll let you know, we'll have it back on the agenda for next month. But if you have
13th.
any more comments or any issues, if you can contact us through email, you can contact Kim, you can call us, whatever you need to do, okay?
Thank you for taking the time to
Yeah.
come tonight.
Yes. No.
Mark, thank you for the background information.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we have a discussion concerning the request from Ann and Tony Lenning, thank you, at 9959 Lincoln Road for vacation of the entire portion of the paper street called Pink Voss Lane behind their house. Okay.
We don't need a second for discussion, do
Nope, we don't.
Okay. Are they here?
No, but
Okay.
No, we received this request from the county engineer's office.
Okay. Are these people aware that when the street is vacated, they only get half, and their butter on the other side of the street
I
gets
have no
half?
idea if they know that or not.
okay, so
Okay.
I can,
Because it shows that, I think, the plots that I've looked at and so on shows them taking the whole thing.
No, they wouldn't get the whole thing.
Just, I know they
would
wouldn't, but do they know that? And
I
that,
don't know.
what is that Derbyshire farm used to be behind there, or whoever owns that now,
Yeah.
would get the other half?
can,
Okay.
yeah, I would like to send out letters to everybody around there, because we talked about just not doing that, we're talking about
Right.
vacating the whole thing. So I think we should send out letters
No,
and get opinions.
we've vacated a portion of Pink Floss before, didn't we? To-
Yeah, on the other end, on the
Okay.
other side of the bike path.
Okay. So I don't want to do this piecemeal. I'm with you, Tim, in the sense that I would contact all the other neighbors and say, this has been requested. Why don't you go piggyback and we vacate the whole street at the same time?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just think it's better if we do it that way versus piecemealing it. Because you don't want to approve one request on the one end and then another request on the other, and then you trap the middle.
Right.
That doesn't do anybody any good.
Then
Now-
you have no access anyway.
Right, now when you go to the aerials, there's nothing there. I mean, there's no electric,
No utility?
no utilities,
Okay.
it's just trees.
and if it has electric on it, we can't vacate it? I think we had
Yeah,
that
if it has a
question.
utility on it, then we would not be able to vacate it, or the county probably wouldn't be able to.
Okay,
There is, and there is no electric on there.
yep, but the one you were talking about is their electric.
There is no.
Okay.
Is one of them vacant? One of those lots along?
The ends, on the ends where Darcy and Judy own, they are vacant, and he actually he had 3 lots and he combined them into 2.
Right.
So there, you can see like a faint, see right in this area? You can see where at one time
There's a little.
something
parking
there
lot,
that
yeah.
probably came up here to this house here, but it doesn't look like it's been used. So it just looks like there's a whole bunch of trees in this area, and then the horse thing backs up to it. But you're right, so if they did vacate from here to the fence over to the blue line, half of that would become Derbyshire and the other half would be those residence lots, part of them. You can see they're just all wooded.
So can we send out letters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get a-
that makes
yeah,
sense.
okay.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay,
Do it all at once.
okay, anything else? Okay, I move to approve advertise for the 2024 mowing program.
Second.
Go ahead.
Discussion?
Phil got that.
Are we doing more, less, equal? this
You
year?
You tell me. We didn't do any last year because of the mower, the contract that we did award, he ended up not doing it. So we had our township personnel do it. I can tell you we spent more in fuel and we spent more in repairs, but
Yes.
I can get you those numbers
Yes.
to compare.
I guess we'd like to know, we set an objective to see if we couldn't reduce our contractor pricing, or at least how much we spent for contract work. I'd like to know if we saved anything or not, which means that the repairs and the fuel and labor, I don't know, I mean, our people are going to get paid whether they're mowing or not, but they could be
Right.
doing something else, or we might not need as many people. That all factors into the mix too. So I'd like to know
And I
if
think,
what we were attempting to do to save money, if we saved any or not before we,
well, and I'd also like it if we put it out there, we can see how much it is this year versus.
That's true. We can always
I-
get
I
a cost
think
and
go-
then,
and
go
go
get the
from there.
and
bids.
then we don't have to do anything
Go
with
get
it if we
right,
don't
the
want
bids.
to.
If
and
it's
we
too
don't have to
high,
let
then
them.
we can figure something out. Or we could
Yes.
piecemeal it, like you could bid it out in sections.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Didn't you,
So-
haven't you done that before?
Yeah, what we do is we look at the bids and look at all the prices, and then we kind of try to group them, like, similar locations together, but I think last year when we got a couple bids that were kind of, a little bit high on some ends, then we just had, we said, okay, the township employees are gonna mow these areas, this contractor's gonna mow this area, and this contractor's gonna mow this area.
If you're
We can do
looking
that
for
again.
a motion to approve going out for the mowing program, I say let's pass it and
Okay.
go and get our bids and then decide what we're gonna do with them. In the meantime, if we could find out if we saved any money or if it cost us extra money to not have contractors do it, I'd like to know that.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So, let's roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
I move to motion not to request a hearing for the liquor permit renewal for Ambient Nails Incorporated, Ambulance Nail Salon and Spa, 1132 Montgomery Road, Symmes Township, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45249.
Second.
Discussion?
Wait.
Roll call?
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye. I move to motion not to request a hearing for the liquor permit renewal for Lucky Car Sushi Factory LLC, Kawa Revolving Sushi, 1138 Montgomery Road, Symmes Township, Ohio, 45249.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2024-01, resolution appointing Jeff Forbes, Law Director pursuant to ORC Section 504.15, dispensing with a second reading.
Second.
Discussion?
I think Jeff does a great job.
I think so too. We're lucky to have him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Roll call?
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
I move approval of Resolution G 2024-02, resolution approving employment agreement with Mike Howe as custodian for Camp Dennison Nature Trail.
Second.
Discussion.
Are there any changes this year from last year?
I think he requested that we give him a raise.
But the resolution as written does not give them one.
Right.
And
Yeah,
we'd
I
like,
just
we'd
put it
like
the
to
same as
eliminate,
last year.
we'd like to eliminate the function or need for the function somehow.
So we don't close any other, we don't gate any other park, just down in Camp Dennison.
Supposedly, there's been a couple issues down there, which is why we started it many years ago.
But we have cameras now down there.
Yeah.
So,
You want to get rid of it this year or next year?
Doesn't matter to me. I personally don't think we need it, but that's up to you guys. It's not up to me.
Let's give him some notice.
Okay.
are you okay with that?
Extend it 2 months or something.
Okay.
So do you
Okay,
want me to
so-
add that on?
So through January,
Through the
February.
first quarter, how about the end of March?
Okay.
Okay, reasonable.
So I'm moving not to approve Resolution G 2024. Am I doing that, or how am I going to say this?
We
Can
can
we just
approve it,
amend
but
it?
just change
Yeah, just
the
vote
term.
on it.
Just change
You
the
can-
term.
Yeah, you can just vote now.
We voted in and changed the term.
Or
to-
can we amend it?
Just add through March at the end of it, of 2024.
Just keep the same resolution with amended term?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so,
I'm going to
So-
keep the same resolution, but I'm going to end it.
so you
March?
make a motion
March.
to amend that.
Okay, I make
the
a
first
motion to amend Resolution 2024-02.
For,
Do I need to read it
for
all out?
one, for the first quarter,
I'm sorry,
just for the first quarter.
just for the first quarter.
Mhm.
Got it.
Second,
Okay. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
So we've approved the amendment.
Yes,
we have
now
to
you would
approve the
need to
resolution.
vote to adopt the resolution as you just amended it.
Okay. Roll call.
Well,
Well,
Do I
you have
need-
to say that.
I have to read it again?
No,
just,
I move to approve resolution G 2023-02 as amended.
and you'll need a second.
Second.
And then
Roll
if
call.
there's- Yeah, if there's no discussion, you can take a roll call.
Roll call.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Good.
I move approval of Resolution G 2024-03, resolution approving expenditures in the amount of $171,400 for special events that will be held in the township and parks, and dispensing with a second reading.
Second?
Discussion. So this is for our bicentennial events.
No, it's for
This is for everything.
Everything.
Oh.
Yeah, this is for every event we
Like
have.
Easter egg.
It includes
Operation
everything.
Santa, Fall for Symmes.
Yep.
And so I've been talking to Kim, so we have a couple ideas for people, for sponsors
Okay.
that we're going to work on. So hopefully this number will go way down.
Well, yeah. So you're working with the Bicentennial Committee?
Yeah, I came to the last one.
Okay, all right.
Jeff, come on up.
Put Jeff on the spot.
Thanks.
Bicentennial Committee Chairman.
Wanted to make sure your committee was involved in this.
Yeah,
So you
no,
don't-
I think.
you don't-
yeah.
Two different people or something like that?
Yeah, we are, I think, still kind of getting our feet underneath us, but I think we've got a pretty good idea of what we're going to do in terms of both the events that we're going to have over the course of the year, as well as what we're planning on doing from a sponsorship standpoint. So I've got a team, a subcommittee that's already working on coming up with sponsorships for the overall bicentennial, and then for each of the individual events. And Kim's done a great job of working with Julie Hanser, who's kind of chairing that part of our program to make that work. So at our next meeting, which is next week, I think
Next
it is.
Wednesday.
Yeah. We'll probably go into some of the details, and after that, then my plan is to have some of the people that are really going to be focused on fundraising start working in earnest with some of the larger operations within the township, as well as even organizations not necessarily directly in the township, but are big community advocates. And so I think really by the end of by the middle of February, let's say, we should have a pretty good idea of whether we've got platinum sponsors and gold sponsors, and how much that is going to bring in. And once we have that money that we're hopefully going to raise, that will either allow us to expand some of the programs that we're doing, including the big bicentennial bash in July, maybe having better music or those types of things, or it will, quite frankly, I also hope offset some of the township's tax contributions. Instead of spending our tax money on this, we can be using sponsorships to devote. So those are really the game plans here, and I think So far, we've got a good group of people that are on the committee. I would implore you all, as well as anybody who happens to be watching this tonight, to make recommendations of other people that you think might want to get involved, because I'd like to see our committee expanded. I think the more community involvement we have, the better off the programming will be, and the easier it'll be for all of us.
So, thank you, Joe.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, any discussion on that?
So this would be like an appropriation, but depending on subsequent sponsorships, it wouldn't necessarily be fully spent.
I do have one question, because rolled into this is yoga.
Yes.
Okay, now, this is right now coming from general fund. And the sponsorship we have for the yoga, those proceeds go into the general fund. So all we're doing is we're underwriting the yoga in this number, but we already have donations towards it.
Right, because we have we already covered the revenue side, but we still have to account for the appropriations going out.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
roll call?
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2024-04, resolution approving a one-year supplemental contract with the Loveland Symmes Fire Department for Camp Dennison area in the amount of $6,000.
Second.
Discussion? We do this every year.
That's annual, yeah.
Roll call?
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2024-05, resolution of approving expenditures for cleanup day, recycling, and hazardous waste collection in the amount not to exceed $20,000.
Second.
Roll call?
Discussion?
Discussion. I know
Thank
we
you.
do this every day.
No. I'd like to know if what you're allocating here is approximately the same as what we spent last year.
No, I increased it just because the costs have been going up.
Okay.
This cleanup day now is about, we paid about $2,500 more than we paid the year before.
Okay.
So I increased it another $2,000.
What about the hazardous waste contribution?
Hazardous waste, yes, I left it at $6,000. We spent about $5,800 last year.
Okay.
So I left that alone.
But we're working with a different group that really runs that portion of it for us, right? The township is not doing the hazardous waste collection.
No, but we control the number of hours that it's available
Okay.
to try to contain the cost, because the problem is the costs keep going up to remove the hazardous waste. So we had to shorten it from 4 hours down to 2 hours last year because the cost has gone up exponentially.
You're just talking about collection?
Yes,
Okay.
when people drop it off,
Wow. That's a small window.
yes, but
It's busy.
it's busy
Constantly.
and we hit our ceiling every time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
So cleanup day is the 18th of May. And I know the recycling is the first Saturday of every month, right? Do we have the hazardous waste? Is that
Yes, it's
scheduled?
usually like that first Saturday in June.
First Saturday, June, okay.
No, you're talking about the first Saturday, that's the reuse,
It's the
That's
hard
recycled.
recycle group.
yeah, that's from Loveland Sustainability. It
Right,
doesn't
I'm
cost
asking about
anything.
hazardous waste collection
Yeah.
on here. So that's the first Saturday in June
Yeah.
Yes.
for 2 hours. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, roll call?
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2024-06, resolution approving an agreement with Belcor to provide IT service and support for 18 workstations located in the Loveland Symmes Fire Station in an amount not to exceed $5,290. It's $5,292. When it's written out for 2024. Thank you.
Next line.
Second.
I didn't see that either.
No, I didn't. Yeah. Discussion?
This is exactly the same from last year.
Okay. Roll call?
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2020, should it be 2024? It's 2023
Oh,
on
yes,
here.
sorry.
2024-07, resolution authorizing the Township Director of Public Works to conduct the necessary sidewalks repair throughout the township not to exceed $10,000.
Second.
Discussion?
That's boilerplate. We allow up to that every year for sidewalk repairs.
Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2024-08, resolution authorizing the purchase of supplies for Symmes Township Medic Unit from various vendors in the amount not to exceed $26,000.
Second.
Discussion? Standard.
Yeah, this is the same as last year too.
Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Do we overspend that amount? We have to amend there. 26,000 sounds like a low number for medic restock.
No, it's usually about 20, I think this past year we spent about 24, 25, somewhere
Okay.
in there.
All right. Sorry.
Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2024-09, resolution authorizing the purchase of turnout gear and various other equipment from Honeywell and other vendors in the amount not to exceed $50,000.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2024-010, resolution authorizing expenditures in the amount not to exceed $21,000 for newsletter expenses dispensing with the second reading.
Second.
Discussion?
This includes, so we normally have two, but this has the third special.
Yeah.
Right, so this will be include our February special edition of our newsletter for the bicentennial.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2024-11, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to purchase salt and other de-icing material for the road department from Morton and other vendors in the amount not to exceed $75,000.
Second. Go ahead.
Ken's got it.
Discussion? Do we need it?
Yeah, that was a question. This caps what we'll spend on salt unless you come back with another supplemental resolution.
Right.
Do we have a place to put that now?
No, we're full right now.
That's what I thought.
We don't need any more salt.
So this is the beginning of the year kind of boilerplate situation that allows us to backfill as we've used it.
Right.
Got it.
And sometimes we go in with other townships or,
We actually buy all our salt from the city of Cincinnati. They have the best bid
Right.
right now for salt.
Okay.
And we have been fortunate the last couple of years to get it at a lower amount, less than like the other townships. So we kind of got in with a good thing with the city of Cincinnati.
okay,
Right.
thank you. Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2024-12, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to sign an agreement with Choice One Engineering for engineering services for Hopewell Road Sidewalk Project Phase 2 in the amount of $29,500.
Second.
Discussion?
So this would be for the Phase 2 project. So this will start from the bridge where we'll be doing, well, ODOT will be replacing the bridge next year over 275, and then it will travel down toward Loveland Madeira and end at Hopewell Hills. So it'll be on that side that we already have sidewalks.
Okay. Discussion? You
No,
didn't get it?
yeah, I got that, but beyond that meaning up the hill, not down the hill.
No, it
No.
No, it goes down the
ends.
hill.
It goes
But not-
over the
no, not
bridge,
all the way
not
down.
all the way down.
Not all the way down the hill. I'm just
It
talking
stops
from the
at that
bridge down
subdivision.
to Hopewell Hills. It's a slope down to
Yes.
the street.
That's,
Yeah.
that's phase two, I understand.
Yes.
But your comment saying that we already have sidewalks and so on, that means up the hill, on the other side.
Yeah,
of
the sidewalks are already
Okay.
up the hill on the other side of the bridge.
Okay, sorry.
Any other comment, question? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2024-13, resolution approving a match cost for engineering for the Kemper Road Sidewalk Project with the Ohio Department of Transportation.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, this one I really want to dig into for a second. There's no numbers down there, but in reading the resolution and so on, it was like 17,000 some odd dollars.
Yeah, our
But
share.
I'd like to ask what that covers. This is just the engineering, or is
Yeah,
ODOT
it's our
going to do all the work?
10%. Yeah, they will, so the overall project is over $1 million.
Right,
Our share is 10%.
right.
So right now, we're just in phase 1, where it just covers engineering, and I think there's something else. I think it's like the environmental work and the design part.
Okay.
So that first part, our 10% is $17,772.90.
But there's another part. And
Yeah,
my
once
question is-
construction will be underway, then we will owe 10% of that portion.
But the whole thing, 10% of $1 million is 100,000, right?
Somewhere, I think it was
So
like
we're
171,000.
committed to $100,000 worth of work on Kemper Road. And I assume that only goes from Snyder to Montgomery Road, right?
That goes from no, not all the way from Snyder. There's already sidewalks from Snyder all the way to the office buildings, so it picks up from Mariners Cove
Okay.
all the way through the intersection at Montgomery Road and down to the intersection at Pemmican.
Wow, okay.
It includes that whole stretch.
And ODOT wants to do this?
Yeah, we applied for a safety grant through ODOT, and that's how it ends up being 90-10.
And are they going to refurbish Kemper Road in this endeavor?
No,
itself?
it's just sidewalks.
Just the sidewalks?
Just sidewalks. We already paved Kemper the county paved Kemper from Montgomery Road to Snyder.
Right. Okay. All right.
Anything else?
Well, whenever you get somebody to pay 90% of something.
Yeah, and it's safety.
Yeah, we would never have done it had we not gotten the grant, but
Yeah.
since we ended up getting a 90-10 grant,
Let's get more of those.
yeah.
I'm looking to save 100,000 by not doing it.
Roll call?
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2024-15, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter into a final agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation and the Board of Township Trustees for Symmes Township for the installation of vandal fences on Hopewell Road Bridge over I-275, Hamilton 275, 3418.
Second.
Discussion?
So this is the final agreement for the vandal fence and the logo on Hopewell Road, that Hopewell Bridge.
So there's
Okay.
our logo on 71, and it looks nice, but is there any way, like at night, like you were
Yeah.
talking about at night, you can't see it?
Can't see it at night, and I talked with Tom Wiedemann at a function, and he's talking about Sycamore on one side is bigger than Symmes on the other side, and as a result, they kind of shadow each other, and it's hard to see what's what. And they're looking at putting a backdrop in behind their sign, which I think will help us, the visibility in the daytime for us. But it's something I think that we might want to consider, depending on how that shakes out, going forward with the one over Hopewell Road. And I also would like to ask if we can have some kind of lights on the thing.
You have to pay for the lights.
What's the purpose of putting it up if you can't see it?
Well, the purpose wasn't to see it at night, it was only to see it during the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can do solar lights, I mean, there's,
You could, yeah. But,
solar lights might be an idea.
I mean, I did send an email to the guy that did the design work for us to ask him if it would make sense to put a backdrop behind it on the bridge on Hopewell, to start with that. Maybe go with that white background with our green, and then put that on that vandal fence. I did send him a picture of what I took the other day, and he's gonna look into it for us and let us know.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, let's think about that going forward. So,
But I've also gotten people to say that our signs are on the wrong sides of the bridge, which I agree, but I didn't know. That was not my choice, but anyway.
I like the
Just
logo
send
though.
them the,
I do too.
It's nice.
send them the ODOT logic.
No, that was Sycamore Township.
That's what I mean, but ODOT put it up there.
But based on Sycamore Township's approval, they wanted their sign on their side of the township, even though when you drive underneath the bridges, it's the opposite direction. And ODOT would not let us put our sign on their side because Sycamore objected to it.
Well,
Well, we don't have that problem on Hopewell.
No, we control
Got
both,
both sides.
so.
yeah. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of following expenditures and authorizing the township administrator to sign any necessary contracts, agreements, or paperwork. Amending the follow. Function account 2031-330-222-0000 Road and Bridge plus $15.
Yes.
Yes.
Final appropriation is $2,215. Account fund number 2194-330-222-0000. Streets plus $15. Final appropriation is $2,215. Account fund 2031-330-224-0000 Road and Bridge plus $70. $570 is the final appropriation. Account fund 2194-330-224-0000 Streets plus $120, with final appropriation being $570. Account fund 2171-610-222-0000 Parks plus $250. Final appropriation would be $4,250. Let's see. Fund account 2196-220-359-0000 Safety Services plus $100. Final appropriation is $1,750. Fund account 2196-370-0000 Safety Service plus $27,000. Final appropriation is $618,000. Account fund 2401-310-360-0000 Lighting District is plus $6,110. Final appropriation is $150,000. Account fund 2901710599000 Special Improve would be $89,152. Final appropriation is $89,152. Fund account 2901-820-820-00000 Special Improve would be $89,152. Final appropriation would be $0. B, expenditure $10,319.41 Buckeye Power Sales for repairs to the generator at Remington Fire Station.
Second.
Discussion? Nope. Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
I move to move into executive session, ORC Section 121.22G1, to consider the compensation and employment of a public employee or official.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. Thank you.
Hey, Cynthia.